Hello, I'm going to continue with reading from the Talmud Jmmanuel. 36. The number, amount for the security of the woman and the mourning gift, dower, shall therefore be calculated for each year of life of the woman. Therefore, sufficient pieces of silver, money, and property, dower and furnishings shall be given. So she will be measured according to her own knowledge and mastery, abilities, capabilities, and according to her own strength. She can have free reign with her own money in terms of her needs, and if her health is not lacking. 37. The amount shall not be considered that of a trade purchase, but as security for the woman, so she will not suffer from want. 38. The bond of matrimony, marriage bond, or other lifelong bond between man and woman shall be permitted only if both are clear in discernment, intellect, and capable of conducting a bond, marriage, according to the given laws. 39. Also, a matrimony, a marriage bond, or other lifelong bond between man and woman shall only be permitted if they are uncorrupted, normal, healthy, in the spirit consciousness, and they are not burdened with acquired diseases and sufferings, hereditary diseases, inherited sufferings. 40. Also, a matrimony between woman and man is only permitted if no cruelty, violence, gewalt, and coercion reigns between them. 41. And a matrimony, a marriage bond, or other lifelong bond between man and woman is only permitted if they are trained, are enabled, such that their descendants will be supplied with the instruction, education without chastisement, without violence, gewalt, and coercion, and will not suffer affliction in any wise. 42. If it be that no descendant is given, if no descendant is desired within the matrimony, the marriage bond, or other lifelong bond, this is permitted and is not of evil. 43. But within a matrimony, a marriage or lifelong bond, only a considerate reasonable number is to be given concerning the descendants, so that the world will not become burdened by a superior number, overpopulation, and become destroyed. 44. A matrimony in the bond, marriage bond, or other lifelong bond between woman and man shall be concluded only if the amount for the woman becomes paid for her security. 45. If, according to prearranged agreement, no amount is paid, then the law applies that the man will provide the wife with all the necessities for her satisfaction for her time of the bond, marriage. 46. Neither infertility of the woman, nor other judgment or action, nor illness, nor detachment, mutilation of limbs, nor coarsening of the body or face, disfigurement, deformity of the body or face, is valid as a cause for the dissolution, divorce of the bond, marriage. The only valid grounds for the dissolution of the bond, divorce, therefore, are the breach of the bond, adultery, as well as the destruction or endangerment of the spirit, material consciousness, and the mentality, psyche, the body, or the life of a relative of blood, member of one's own family, blood relative. 48. If a human being, a man or woman, is guilty for a divorce, then he or she shall be separated from men or women, for bearers of guilt are unworthy of life and its laws. Therefore, every human being who makes him or herself guilty in a bond marriage shall be expelled and banished before the people, excluded from the society, separated to a place of fulfillment of guidelines, or prison, or stuck on an island with all men or only women. 49. And a man or a woman is also guilty for a divorce if his or her righteousness for guiding the family is not given, and quarrels and discipline, coercion and cruelty, violence, gevalt, reign all around. 50. If all is done and followed in this wise, only then will the love and the rightfulness, and thus peace and order and consonance, harmony, truly come to all human species, and so the life will be preserved. Chapter 13. Jmmanuel and the Sabbath. Number 1. At that time, Jmmanuel walked through a field of grain on the Sabbath, and his disciples and discipresses were hungry and began to pluck ears of grain and to eat them. 2. When the Pharisees saw this, however, they spoke to Jmmanuel, "Behold, your disciples and discipresses are doing what is not allowed on the Sabbath." Explanation. The Sabbath, Hebrew, Sabbath equals to rest, sacred in Judaism, day of rest, lasting from Friday evening to Saturday evening, which is celebrated with certain rituals. Among the Jews, the Sabbath is the weekly day of rest and celebration, in memory of God's rest on the seventh day of creation week. It was prescribed as a religious duty in Exodus 20:10 FF, equaling, quote, "But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. You shall do no work, neither you nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates." After the Babylonian exile, the Sabbath became one of the central symbols of the Jewish confession. It begins on Friday evening and ends on Saturday evening after sunset. Also, some Christian communities, as for example the Adventists, celebrate the Sabbath day instead of Sunday as a day of rest. The collective designation for the Christian communities, which also hold the recommendation of the Sabbath as binding for their Christian cults, is known as Sabbatarians. Above all, the community of the Seventh-day Adventists is to be named in this regard. The time of a free day, Sabbath day, Sunday, or a day off from work is traditional and was already brought to the earth by the extraterrestrials around 389,000 years ago. The Sabbath day or Sunday or day off from work, not holiday therefore, does not lead back to the human beings of earth. So logically, also not to the Hebrews or Jews, not to the Christians, and not to Islam, which uses the weekday of Friday as the actual holy day or Sunday. The traditional day off from work, free day, Freitag or Feiertag in German, given by the extraterrestrials, was a special day even at very early times, and this could be inserted whenever wanted. Consequently, it does not necessarily have to be the Christian Sunday, the Jewish Sabbath day, or the Islamic Friday, etc. Rather, It could be any desired day of the week. And indeed, this free day, which incidentally also plays a very important role with the Pleiadian, in order to abstain themselves from work and devote themselves to rest, should also be meaningful and something special for the human beings of the earth. Thank you for listening. Have a good afternoon and good evening, and Salome.